In addition to the 3 Canadians who were killed, 3 others are missing. Ottawa says it's sending a team of experts to work with Israel's chief hostage negotiator. We'll speak to former Justice Minister Irwin Cotler about those efforts a little bit later on our program. We'll also speak with Israel Defense Forces spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus about reports of intensifying activity at Israel's northern border. First, though, the feds are announcing they will airlift Canadians out of Israel through Tel Aviv. 2 military planes that can carry 150 passengers each could arrive in Israel as early as Thursday night.
Once this conflict started, we immediately started planning, developing options, taking a look at the possibilities of what support we could provide. So there's been a tremendous amount of concurrent activity ongoing as this situation has unfolded.
For more on that evacuation plan, Pablo Rodriguez is the Transport Minister. Hi, Minister. Good to have you with us. Thank you very much for making the time.
Hello, Vassy. If you allow me, I'd first like to express my condolences to the families who've lost their loved ones.
I appreciate that, of course. On the plan to evacuate Canadians, of course, the transportation plan that you and your department will oversee. I just wanted to get some clarity on the timeline. I know some government officials, for example, today were saying it could happen as early as Thursday. Do you have anything more definitive now that the day has passed about when the first plane might be able to land and then also take off?
For now, what I can tell, it's as early as tomorrow night, at the latest Friday. So it's between tomorrow and Friday, I would say early Friday. There's been a lot of work behind all of this, and I really want to thank our brave pilots, the people in the Army. I also want to thank Air Canada, because we've had long conversations in the last few days. We want to be there as soon as possible, but also keeping in mind that the first priority is the security of all Canadians.
In your conversations with Air Canada, do those involve the possibility of chartering additional flights beyond the 2 military planes?
Well, the military planes is one thing. Those were discussions with the Army, and they will be providing those planes. So they will bring Canadians, Canadian citizens, Canadian residents and their family from Tel Aviv to Athens, and Air Canada will take them from Athens and bring them home. For now, we have one Air Canada flight, a 777 with capacity of 300 people. We're looking at the possibility of adding more. I have to say that Air Canada has been very cooperative. For this to happen, they had to send people as early as last night, which I asked them to do, and they accepted. So they sent the land crew from Canada to last night. They're there, they're ready. And as soon as people arrive from Tel Aviv with the Army planes, they will be transported to Canada.
A couple of thousand Canadians have reached out, not said that they want to be on those flights, but have reached out with questions and concerns to the embassy in Israel. Do you have any more definitive of an idea of how many Canadians might need to use those planes, might need to evacuate or want to evacuate from Tel Aviv now that, again, a day has, the day, I should say, has passed since the announcement was made that you would do that?
Global Affairs is still calling those people. So the first thing to do, as you know, Vassy, is to call to register. And now I want to talk directly to Canadians. If you have friends, loved ones that are there, please ask them to register with Global Affairs. It's the only way for us to be able to contact them. As of now, there's about 4,600 people that have registered, 4,200 in Israel, and another 475 in the West Bank and Gaza. These people are directly contacted by Global Affairs, and that way we can secure their departure if that's what they wish.
So I just want to be clear on that point, because we have heard from a number of Canadians who you just described who felt like they weren't getting communication on any of this, that they had called the embassy, been kind of given platitudes, and then there was a vacuum of information. Are you saying now if you've registered, the embassy will call you to give you the information about the evacuation flights?
You will be contacted by Global Affairs, absolutely. And the people that want to leave the country will be put on a list, and then based on that, we're organizing our flights. Again, this is something very difficult, and we're doing this as early as possible. There's been talks and discussions, and we've consulted our experts, our pilots, our people on the ground, and actually we're the first country of the Five Eyes to have in place an assisted departure system that will systematically take Canadians that want to leave from Tel Aviv to Athens and from Athens to home.
I certainly acknowledge that you're the first among the Five Eyes, but there were a number of countries, including a bunch in Latin America, who sent flights prior to this. The criticism from the opposition, and again, some Canadians who are stuck over there, is that your government waited too long to do this. How do you respond to that criticism?
Well, I heard the critics from the opposition, but I want to ask, what do you know more than our own pilots? What do you know more than our own experts? What do you know more than the people on the ground? It's very sad they try to politicize this. Very, very sad. Are they saying that they know the situation more than we do? More than the Army does? More than our pilots in the Army does? These people are taking risks, and there will be flying planes as of tomorrow or Friday at the latest. And I listen to those people.
I certainly can't speak, Minister, and I do take your point for the opposition, but if I could frame it instead from the viewpoint of Canadians who are stuck there, was there any way, based on any conversations you've had, that you could have had planes there earlier?
No, not based on the conversations we had. You're right, there's some countries that sent a few planes, but it was on and off. Just recently today, the British were flying, and British Airways, a plane was on its way. Because of the danger of rockets, they turned around right away and canceled all the flights from British Airways. While that happened, we're putting in place a system that we have and will be working as of tomorrow, Friday at the latest.
Let me ask you then, Minister, and I acknowledge this is probably a little hypothetical at this point because you don't have any final numbers. But is it your anticipation that the Government of Canada can facilitate the evacuation for all of the Canadians who do qualify based on the parameters that you've set up? Can you get everyone out who wants to get out?
Yes, absolutely. That's the intention. And that's what we're working on with our brave pilots in the Army, with Air Canada. We've been putting all our energy there. Our consular people and embassy people are there 24/7, working all the time, and we're going to make it. I understand. Sorry, Vassy, but I understand how tragic the situation is on the ground and how people can be scared, afraid. It's awful. It's horrible, and our job is to take them out as soon as possible, but in a secure way. We also have to protect their life. Their life is in our hands in a way. We have to do it.
Speaking of,
by protecting their security.
Minister, I understand that, Minister. I think speaking of security, there are a lot of Canadians tonight who are also thinking of I think you said it was 475 who have registered in Gaza and the West Bank. From everything I listened to from the government officials and the Minister of Foreign Affairs earlier today, it did not appear to me like there is anything concrete to get those individuals out. Is that accurate?
For the West Bank, we're working on options by ground, transportation to Jordan, and then by plane back to Canada. So we're working on that at the same time. Gaza, it's more complicated, of course, because of the situation where they're in, and we think that we need a humanitarian corridor there. And one of the reasons is also for us to be able to help at the humanitarian level the people that are there.
Are you involved? Is your government involved in any discussions around the creation of a humanitarian corridor?
You will have to ask my colleague Mélanie Joly, but that's what we've been asking, and we think it's a top priority at this moment.
Your government has also insisted that it will continue aid to Gaza, and it is confident that that aid won't be directed to the hands of Hamas. I'm wondering how Canadians can reconcile that with the idea that you're also telling us tonight you're not able to get into Gaza, that there's no plan to be able to help the up to 500 Canadians who are there, possibly, I'm not sure of the exact number because, of course, it coincides with the number in West Bank. How can you reconcile those two things?
Because it's always been our top priority to help the people in Gaza and making sure that the money doesn't go to Hamas, because Hamas is not the Palestinian people. They're a bunch of terrorists. That's what they are, the Hamas. So, but we need to help us, and other countries are ready to help the Palestinian people in Gaza, and we have to make sure, and we've been doing this for a long time, to make sure that whatever we do in terms of help, it never goes to Hamas' hands, but in the hands of the people that need it, especially the children that can be injured in this crisis.
And I completely acknowledge the need that exists in Gaza right now, and it is, awful for people to watch as well. But given what Hamas has done over the weekend and what they have shown to be capable of, are you worried at all that the kind of aid that you have sent and continue to could get into their hands?
Well, this is what we want to avoid, absolutely. And I think the mechanisms are in place. I don't know how perfect they are, but we'll do everything we can to help the people in Gaza, and only the people in Gaza, never a cent going to Hamas. They're a bunch of terrorists. Again, Hamas is not the Palestinian people.
Okay, Minister Rodriguez, I'll leave it there. I appreciate your time this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vassy.
Pablo Rodriguez is this country's transport minister. Our